So I'm back on my my 5.9 Magnum refresh. I was out here most of the evening and I really didn't record anything because my son, who is the owner of the engine, he wanted to be out and he wanted to be helping me and he wanted to be kind of learning a few things because he's actually apprenticing to be a heavy duty mechanic. So I'm really proud of him, but he's not the kind of feller that loves to be on camera. So I enjoy spending time with him way more than I enjoy making YouTube videos. So I'm just going to show you what we got done, and if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, this would be just the next step in disassembly and inspection of our 5.9 Magnum. Like that, stick around. So we were fortunate enough to, between the 4 Magnum heads that I had around the shop, we found 2 with no cracks. So that's the 2 that we're going to use. And the valves, the guides seem good. They passed the suction test fairly well. So that's what we're going to use for heads. And just stock heads, I'll give them a 3-angle valve job with the junk Chinese valve tools that I've got here, but I'm entirely confident they're going to seal and should work out real well. Now the block is down to bare block. It looks real good in there. Not sure how well you're going to see. I probably should have got a light or something like that, but it didn't. So stock block, the bearings were actually good enough that you probably could have reused the main bearings. I'm not going to do that, but a push come to shove, a guy could have had you had to. And it's going to get new cam bearings just because I don't know what it is about these Magnums. Everything wears so good in them. The bores wear so good. I've never had to deal with anything with the lifter bores or the cranks or anything like that. It always seems to be real nice shape, but the cam bearings, they just, whether they used shit ass cam bearings in those years or what it is, I don't know. But anyway, you know what, it's not a big deal. I've got the tool, I've got the ability to change them myself, so it'll get new cam bearings before she goes back together. The stock piston and rods are going to be going back in there. This is straight out of the cleaner, straight out of the sauce. She looks just freaking lovely. Everything, I can't really pick it up and show you too much because it's hotter than the hubs of hell coming out of that machine. But 1 down and 7 to go with the cleaning. That's one of the longer processes. But I tell you what, the ultrasonic cleaner beats the ever-living shit out of hand cleaning the pistons. And when it comes to stuff like getting down in there, you are never going to get a piston as clean down in there as you can with this ultrasonic machine. So I can't say enough about how happy I am with that. The rod bearings were definitely wore far more than the main bearings. Fortunately, I chucked all the main bearings in the bin, so I can't really show you them. But they weren't showing any copper anywhere. But these, you can see, yeah, they were due to be changed. So we'll definitely we'll get new rod and main bearings and new rings and whatnot. Should be in real good shape when we're done. Whether you think it's a good idea or not, I'm going to go ahead and reuse the stock roller lifters. They're probably better than anything you can buy today. I was extra careful taking them out of there because they've been in there for quite some time. And what happens is right down here, they get a little bit of build up and schmutz in there, and the first little bit they push up in the valve hole real easy, and then they tend to get stuck. So I had a little bit of a time getting them out of there, but I was extra careful with them to make sure that they were able to be reused. Just save myself a bit of money, and honestly, I really think that they're probably better parts. As far as the oil pump goes, the stock oil pump was giving me 50 to 60 psi with semi worn out bearings and real loose tolerances and shit cam bearings. So that same pump is going to go back in there, and I'm entirely confident that it's going to pump as much oil as I need it to pump. It'll pull it apart and make sure it's all nice and clean inside and everything like that. But as far as it goes today, the plan is reuse that oil pump just the way it is. The rod bearings were definitely wore far more than the main bearings. Fortunately, I chucked all the main bearings in the bin, so I can't really show you them. But they weren't showing any copper anywhere. But these, you can see, yeah, they were due to be changed. So we'll definitely we'll get new rod and main bearings and new rings and whatnot. Should be in real good shape when we're done. Stock crank will definitely get reused on this one. Everything looks good on there. I'll clean up the bearing journals with shoelace and a little bit of abrasive, and those will be good to go. Clean out the oiling holes as good as need to be cleaned out, and that should be about mint. If you see the cam there, that's just the stock cam, and yeah, it would have been fine. It could have put it back in there, could have made it work, but we've decided we're going to go ahead and use an upgraded cam from Howard's Cams. I'll share with you just a little bit on the specs and whatnot of that right away here. Now this Howard's cam I think is going to be really nice for our application. 274, 278 duration, 474, 500 lift. It's fairly mild. They talk about nice idle, which is important to us, and good low end power. I mean, they think of it, they refer to it as a street strip application, but I'm really confident that this is going to be exactly what we need in a truck. It gets driven fairly spirited, but we're going to be pretty happy with the way this thing turns out. Now, bear in mind, I'm not a cam guy. I ran this selection past a fella that I know through the whole YouTube's world. His channel is Wild Rose Garage. He does all sorts of really neat, more or less low buck stuff, kind of like I like to do. Seems to be a whole heck of a lot smarter than me, especially when it comes to picking cams and whatnot. And he figured that I was right on the money with this one, so that's the one I'm going to go with. And cautiously optimistic it's going to wake up this little 5.9, and it's just going to be just a little more fun in that truck. Now we're going to reuse this. This is one of those cheap Chinese intake manifolds. It's kind of a knockoff of the Edelbrock air gap. It's definitely not as nice of an intake as the Edelbrock, but you know what? When I originally built this engine, it was kind of in the middle of the scamdemic, and this was all I could get. So I got it. I'm going to reuse it, and for this application, it's going to be just fine. I'm probably going to go ahead this time, and just for my own peace of mind, I'll maybe port match it to the heads and to the gaskets. Just, will it make a difference? Maybe, maybe not. I'll feel better that I've done it, so I'm going to do it. And that's going to be where we're going to go with intakes. This is the 670 Street Avenger that was on it previously. I was having a little bit of trouble with the manual choke. It was all stuck and bunged up. So I don't know if I'm going to put the electric choke back on it or stick with a manual choke, or I'm actually thinking that I might even put a 750 vacuum secondary on it just for giggles, because I don't know, I'm a big fan of a bit bigger carb than you maybe honestly need, but I really do believe that an engine is only going to draw what it needs. So this whole thing about having too big of a carburetor, I mean, unless you got a 1050 on a 273 and you have no signal, I can understand that. But as far as a 750 on a decent 5.9 Magnum, pretty sure we'll be okay there. We'll see what we're going to do, though. So that's it for now. Just got a whole whack of cleaning to do. Got to get the rest of those pistons run through the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll run my lifters through there and a few other things. As much as I can, I will use that thing because it takes time. Don't get me wrong, it does. But it does such a nice job. And you don't run the risk of scuffing or scratching or anything. They come out clean as a whip, and I'm super happy with that way of cleaning. So stuff that we're gonna have to clean, we're gonna have to clean the block, the heads, valves, different things like that. We're gonna have to whip them up as good as we can, but that's gonna be the next few days of our little adventure here. It'll be kind of boring as all get out, but that's okay because that's all part of it too. And when we're out here in the garage screwing around, drinking whiskey, and my son and I having fun, I never imagined anything as great in my whole entire life as that. So I'll hang on to that and I'll ride that wave as long as I can, as long as somebody's willing to come out and hang out with me in the shop. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something out of that. Just little intro and understanding of what we're doing in the next steps. So appreciate you. If you're thinking about it, maybe subscribe to the channel. You get an updated next time we post something. So I'm gonna try and keep doing all sorts of different stuff. Some more engine stuff. I just got a torque converter for my car. Unfortunately, it's going to be another 4 or 5 months before I get that installed and tested. But whatever, makes me really wish this winter would get done sooner than later. So appreciate y'all watching. Take care.